Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird, and welcome to the first snapshot of Minecraft 1.9. This is 15W, 31, A, B, and C, and it's one of the biggest weeks ever for new features. Today we're going to check out a sneaky new monster with a very unique way of killing players, battle a much more exciting and difficult Ender Dragon boss, explore an expanded end dimension complete with dungeon cities and flying ships, as well as look at new blocks, food, potions, arrows, and a lot more. Now, even though this first snapshot is just chock full of new features, the developers have already said that this is the tip of the iceberg for the combat update. They have a lot more planned, and they're just getting started. They've got some surprises that they're holding off until later, but we do know of some features that are not in the snapshot, including melee combat changes, shields, lots of new items and blocks, potions and enchantments that they've hinted at, and of course balancing to make sure none of this new stuff is too overpowered. So we're going to start in the overworld, talk about everything here, and then we will jump into the end dimension a little bit later in the video to take down that dragon, and of course explore and hopefully conquer the end cities that are chock full of those scary new monsters. So the first big thing that you think of with 1.9 is combat, because it is the combat update, and the big feature that has to do with that is wearing the severed head of a dragon to inspire fear in your opponent. No, this is just a cosmetic thing, but we'll get into that in a little bit. The big thing is dual wielding, and it starts with holding your weapon in a weird way. We can now hold our weapons in our left hands, or any item. We can change our dominant hands. It's still a little buggy right now. They're working on it. It looks like somebody glued my sword to the back of my hand. But if you go into your options, go to skin customization, and then you can switch your main hand from left to right, and it's pretty much identical. It's just mirrored when you have it in your opposite hand. This is a nice way for people who are left-handed to be able to play the game and have it look right for them. So that's cool, but it also is linked in with dual wielding. So once you have whatever you have in your main hand, you can now put something in this little slot here. This shield slot is also your offhand slot. So if I was to put this apple here, it would pop up, and now I actually have two hands and I'm holding two items. How weird is that? So dual wielding can be very useful. If you have a item in your main hand and it has a right click function, you can't really use the item in your offhand though. So for now, the sword can still block, and if we had a bow, we would try to shoot that, stuff like that. But if we had something that doesn't have a right click function in our main hand, like a pickaxe, then if we try to right click, it will try to use the item in your offhand. So if I had like a potion in my offhand, if I right click, it will drink the potion, and if I left click, it will pick with the pickaxe. So yeah, you can do everything as you're used to, but now with this thing in your offhand, you can do a lot of stuff, like lay down torches when you're mining. It'll help you build a little easier, things like that. And by default, the F key switches the items back and forth, but you can change this in the options. It looks really funny to just like swap them back and forth. You can just like, you know, play keep away with something back and forth in your hand, like, oh, got your head, dragon, got your head. Monkey in the middle, throw it back and forth between your friends and make the dragon have to get its head back. So yeah, it's cool. It looks really weird. I'm still not used to it. I'm still not fully used to the slim arms, as you guys might not be either, but it's a cool new feature. I'm glad we finally got it in this update. So a few other things with dual wielding. That hand is going to just be invisible when you're in first person unless you're holding something, and some attributes and enchantments are going to apply to your offhand while others are not going to. But you can see if I go over this little tooltip, it says when in main hand does that much damage. So now there's little specifics on what, you know, damage is done when it is in your main or offhand. And then you guys also saw when you have something in your offhand, it goes to the side of your hotbar. If you were to switch to your, switch hands, it'll go on the other side to kind of mirror where it is. This is so weird looking. But yeah, so it's going to take a bit of getting used to, especially in like combat situations and stuff, but I think dual wielding is going to be pretty cool. Now, there's a few unique features. We're going to get into the arrows in a second, because that's a big thing with dual wielding. But maps, if you hold a map normally, it just looks like this, but if you put it in your offhand, you now have this little mini-map GPS system, so you can just be like, oh, I'm gonna go place this dragon head over here. All right, so it's nice to navigate to have that, and then you don't have to switch back and forth from it. You can have your sword out and also have your map at the ready in case you need it. So that's a cool little thing. And now you'll start noticing, very rarely, mobs will spawn with left-handed as their main. So you can see this guy's holding my little head there. And they can dual wield as well. Most of these mobs that, can wear armor and everything can dual wield, like skeletons and zombie pigmen, stuff like that. Armor stands can also dual wield. So you can see down here, you now have hand items, and you can put 2 different items there for their hands. It works on anything that has, hands. You do that same way. And then if you want to mess with their armor, you can put weird stuff on their head slot now. We have armor items. So you can put like a cake on their head and stuff like that. But this is mainly for map makers if you're going to spawn in custom mobs. There's also a cool thing now that's called custom name visible. So even if I'm far away from the zombie, it'll always say his name over his head. But in survival, you'll start seeing these guys, holding things in their offhand, as weird as that is. So try to get used to that. Left-handed zombies are going to be on the attack. So let's get into arrows now. So over here, I have 14 of the 15 types of arrows. Water-breathing arrows were not put in for the snapshot, but they will be in the future, I'm sure. So most of these are just different potion effects. You can see invisibility, leaping, healing, as weird as that is, even a water arrow. I'll go into that in a little bit here. Harming, regeneration, fire resistance. There is one special one with this thick outline here. This is the new Spectral Arrow. So the cool thing about dual wielding, let me grab a few of these. I'll get some poison arrows here and just kind of rearrange. But the cool thing about these arrows is that they link in with dual wielding. So if you want to have a certain arrow in your quiver ready to fire, you can use the new dual wielding function to get that as the one that you're gonna shoot. And let me grab some spectral arrows here. So yeah, the arrows are very central to dual wielding, because if you are to shoot off your bow normally, you can also see there's a new animation in my hotbar that shows the bow drawing back. And also fishing rods, you can see a few different ones have different functions. They added in all these different new block model systems and item textures, so you can make like custom things where like a sword could take damage as the durability goes down. It could visibly have different textures, cool stuff like that, and it really cleaned up the game a lot. But yeah, back to the arrows. So whatever arrow is like first in your inventory or in your hotbar, that's the one that you're gonna fire. But if you want to fire a different arrow, say I wanted an arrow of healing, you just put that in your offhand, and then you can load it right up into your bow, and it will use those arrows first. They have this nice little stink so that you can tell that they are potion arrows. Healing arrows are so weird because if you can, whoa, don't try this at home. Oh, there we go. So if you hit yourself with it, you'll take the damage, but you'll heal it back. The effect of the arrow is applied on hit. These are good for zombies, though, because my little zombie target there, wearing the wool on his head, is going to take a little extra damage, I think, from these healing arrows, because zombies are damaged by that. But some of the ones you'll probably use more are like poison arrows, so you can poison your foes and make them take damage over time. Oops, here we go. And also, our arrows of harming will do a little extra damage. The spectral arrows are the big thing, though, of the new types, because all these are just potions that we already have in the game. But the spectral arrows are brand new. If you hit your foe with one of these spectral arrows, well, if they're not dead, you'll see, you saw for a second there, they have this new glow effect. It's an outline that lasts only a little while, but it's nice because you can tell where they are even behind blocks. It's very useful for PvP, or maybe for an Enderman or something that teleports away. You can track them a lot easier. And you can hit Enderman with these spectral arrows, which is kind of nice. The arrow doesn't seem to do damage, but it does make them glow in that way. So this is like a new negative status effect, and they'll glow with their team colors if you've got a team color set, so very useful for PvP. But they're not that useful otherwise if you're not going to do that. But it's a cool little effect, and that's why they have that dark outline around them. I thought they looked so weird compared to the other arrows, but that's the reasoning. So we've got that, and you'll notice here, if I was to hit myself with an arrow, we've got a new HUD for status effects. So let me just shoot that up, and oh, missed it. There we go. Oh, man, it's a little harder to shoot yourself with an arrow than it looks. Straight up, and there we go. Now look on the right, you see there's that little HUD. That tells me what status effects I have as I'm slowly dying here on the side. Negative ones will be on the bottom row, and if I was to grab some healing arrows here, and we'll put that in there. Let me see if I can do this a little better now. Get used to that. There we go. Now I have regen, so it's going to counteract that effect. The positive ones will be on the top. The negative ones will be on the bottom, and they'll start to blink and blink faster and faster as they're close to running out. So as you see, this poison one's getting close. It's going to start to blink there as it is running out. There it goes. It's fading, and once it's gone, it'll be gone. But now it's nice that you don't have to pop into your inventory to like see the status effects. That poison lasts a lot longer than I thought it would. There we go. Now we're just going to reach in and be right as rain. But yeah, it's nice that you get all of these little status effects a little easier. You don't have to, you know, pop out into your menu to see that. And the arrows I mentioned, there's those 14 types that we have right now, but the water-breathing ones I'm sure will be added in. There's a new system now with the potions where you can put them on the arrows. There's no way to craft them yet, but I'm assuming you would just take a potion and put it on an arrow and you'd be able to dip them in it, but we'll see in the future. We can make the spectral arrows, though. You get 2 of them for 4 glowstone dust and 1 arrow. So for whatever reason, you get 2 arrows out of 1 of those. I'm not complaining. It's a nice way to get some free arrows there. So there we go. Now, a few other things here you've probably already noticed that I got to explain. We've got these grass paths. I'm going to grab my shovel here because now you can right-click on grass to shovel it, and it becomes this path block. It's very dark when it's on its own, but if you were to shovel a bit, you can see it starts to get lighter and lighter as it doesn't have those shadows near the edge. These guys are a little bit slightly less than a full block. It's like 0.9 of a block, so it's a little less, and they're very grass-like. You can see it's even the same texture there, but you can use these to kind of mark out paths, and the cool thing is, because they are slightly lower than a normal block, monsters and, you know, any type of mob, monsters, animals, will not spawn on here. So that's kind of makes the paths a little safe, like in an RPG. If you're going to walk on the path, you don't run into monsters as much. So I like that it goes with that. And also, you can put ice under these bad boys, and then if you're like going across, you will, you know, you'll skid across them a lot faster because they're less than a full block. So they have the effect of whatever block is underneath them. You can also do soul sand, I believe, to make them have people walk slower if you want to make like a trap path or something. But yeah, it's a nice new function for the shovel now. We can finally do something else with it other than just digging. You can make these paths. Villages don't seem to have them yet, but they will. They have them in Pocket Edition, so I'm sure eventually villages will have these instead. And you can't, you know, silk touch them normally, but you can pick block on one of these and you'll get the grass path here. You can see it on its own. It just really does look like a kind of, you know, worn out grass that's been walked on a lot, so it's got a nice look to it. So over here, we've got a new crop, and I was not expecting this. Let me get rid of some of these arrows here and take my stuff out of my offhand. There we go. So this is the new crop, Beetroot. I was not expecting this at all. It looks pretty cool. It's got these nice veiny, like red roots going out, and you can farm it. You can eat it raw, just, you know, a straight beet for only 1 shank of hunger, so they're not very useful for that. You have to grow them with these little beetroot seeds, and you can find these in villages as well as the new dungeon that we're going to go to here very soon. Now, the uses of beetroot, they're not that useful right now. You can take 1 to make some rose red dye, so if you don't have any flowers around, there you go. And then also, if you take 6 and a wooden bowl, you can make beetroot soup, which heals 3 shanks. So not the best, but not the worst, you know. It's one of the probably less useful food items. It's cool to see new crops in the game, but I'd like to see if it has new uses for it. And the big thing that I'm guessing is because the developers said more potions are coming, more potion effects. I have a feeling that the beetroot is going to be involved in one of those new potions, because last time we got the carrots, and the carrots were used for night vision, so I think this is going to be a connection here. Jeb loves adding new crops and having new farming techniques and stuff like that, so I think it's good that we're getting these. One little hidden feature, though, is that pigs love beetroots. Just like carrots, you can use these to breed little piggies. There we go. They love it. That's cool. That it's another thing to feed. I think eventually pigs should just like eat anything, because just like real pigs. Also our wolves, if we could make the, you know, like dogs will just eat anything, but don't feed them cocoa beans. So the beetroots, kind of cool, but you're not that important. Speaking of potions, though, everything has been kind of redesigned here. If you were to combine these potions with commands, the colors would now blend, which is really cool. But you can see there's splash potions of a bunch of different ones that we didn't have before, like the mundane, awkward, thick and just normal water bottle potions. They're trying to you know, hammer out some of the complexity of these potions, so I think they're going to remove the thick and mundane potions because we just have multiple ways to make bad potions. They removed some of the recipes to make the potion of weakness, so there's only 1 or 2 ways, I think, now to do that, but it makes sense because there doesn't need to be like a million ways for each thing. So now that we have the splash water bottle, there's like a water potion, you know, water bottle that we normally have, but we have the splash version now, and the cool thing about this is if you throw it, it can put out fire. You can see it like spawns a little bit of water there and puts out fire. So that's the only use of this splash potion as of yet, but it's pretty cool. You guys saw there was a water arrow over here. This doesn't do anything, but it just, you know, puts water effects looking like the little particles. It doesn't do what the splash potion does, but maybe it will later is what I'm thinking. So it'll be cool to see what those water arrows do, or maybe they do extra damage to something like a blaze or nether monsters. We'll have to see in the future. If you want to get a potion, though, now they changed all the way that you can spawn these potions in. There's now a little tag that's like give potion. I've got some little things over here because I made some custom potions using the new effects. There are a few extra potions here, but yeah, you can see that if you want to spawn in a potion now, you can use Minecraft potion and then you put in the like special potion there. But you can use this to get some potions of levitation and splash potion of levitation, as well as a potion of the spectral variety. So if I drink this, you guys can see I can get the glow, and there's, you know, pops up on my little Stas effect HUD, and I look real stinky right now. But now I've got this cool glow effect, and the glow, it doesn't go around the items, but it's really bizarre looking still. But yeah, the potions, you can make the custom versions of them a lot easier. You don't have to have the ID necessarily, but if you are using one that's not in the game yet, but is an effect like levitation, we'll see that very soon here with the new monster. You have to do a custom way of doing that, and you can also do splash potion to get those in. But yeah, you can do some special things with these potions if you can make them. I made some animals float in the air thanks to thanks to that new effect here. So I've got some balloons. I just kind of made them levitate forever. If those leads were gone, they would just go up into the air, and we could even do that with one of these guys just because it's fun to do. Where's a, we'll see, there's a horse over here. Sorry, Mr. Horse, but I'm gonna send you off to the clouds. There he goes. And now I have the effect as well. I must go. My horse people need me. He'll just keep floating forever. I feel bad, but that's all right. So yeah, this levitation effect, I'm really expecting this might become a potion in the game, although the developers have went back and forth on it, but at least you can spawn them in, even if you can't get it normally. But it is tied into that new mob that we're going to get to pretty soon here. Now, the nether, it has actually been changed a little bit. I wasn't expecting that. This is mostly an update to the end, but the nether has no nether fog anymore, and I don't know if this was a mistake, but it looks a lot nicer. It's easier to navigate when you don't have that nether fog. Not as creepy, though, so I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on that decision to remove the fog, but it still looks good. So over here, we've got a lot of new things that we got to talk about. This is the mysterious structure block that developer Serge made. This you actually have to use set block to spawn it in. You cannot get this normally. It has functions to create different structures and then like clone them around for testing. These don't actually do anything. If you're just playing the game normally, you'd have to do some tweaking of the files to get these to work, but they're for the developers. But that's that mystery solved. If you didn't know what these weird, crazy mottled colored blocks here are, that is the structure block. So don't worry about it. Never mind, that's just for the developers. Over here, we've got some new looks and new functions to some things that are already in the game. So glass panes, and no glass planes yet. They wouldn't fly very well. Glass panes and iron bars, if you place them on their own now, they'll just kind of be singular here. They've got a nice new look to them, and you can see there's a lot of decorative function to this. If you link them together, they go back to normal. But now that they stand alone, you can make like glass-legged tables. You could just have weird like glow sticks. You could make a lightsaber. Lots of weird stuff that you can do and just, stack them up. I think this will open up a lot of opportunities for designs, but having like a pole variety that you can use in the game. I've got this cool like stalactite thing going on. I don't know what it is, but it looks crazy. Now over here, we've got trap doors, and this is a big thing for builders and makers of traps. You can now place these without having to have any support blocks there to hold them. So you can build with these guys and put them around without the support blocks needing to be there. This is a big deal because I remember trying to make like a manhole back in the day to make like a sewer, and I couldn't do it because I couldn't like link it to a block. I had to like flip it over. Before then, we couldn't even do that. So yeah, it's cool that you can find, they've lifted a lot of the restrictions, so we kind of have some like vertical slabs a little bit, finally, a thing that we didn't think was going to come into the game. Over here, I've got these dead bushes from the desert. Normally not much of a function, but if you break them now, they drop sticks. So if you are stuck in the desert or you're trying some type of desert survival, that's a good way to make sure that you can get sticks easy without having to worry about, you know, finding a tree out in the desert or something. Over here, whoa, excuse me, there is a new function for skeletons. You can see he's actually holding his bow normally, but when he shoots, he will, this is Bones Malone, my buddy, when he shoots, he'll draw back the arrow, really cool like, and let it go. He'll even hold the arrow. If you like duck behind something, he'll hold it and wait for you to peek out and it hits you just like a real player. If you hide behind a block for long enough, the skeleton will forget about you though, so you can get away from them. But now you can see a lot easier when skeletons are on the attack, so it's kind of a nice little feature there. And of course, they have that small chance of being left-handed with their bows as well, and map makers can make them use these new potion-tipped arrows, which is nice and handy. Let me grab some food here. I'm gonna eat this mysterious fruit that we're gonna learn about in a second. Oh no! That was not what I wanted to do. Let's get out of here. All right, we got our food. Let's go back up and find our way back. I ran right next to a creeper. That's the dangers of using this new fruit that we will learn about in a few moments. So here we are, back where we were, not too far. Over here, I've got this Enderman egg and the Spectral Arrows because I wanted to show you guys something cool with the Enderman. I mentioned that you can use the Spectral Arrows to tag them, but another cool feature with these guys is that if I can hit them with the right timing here, if you get them into the water, you know, previously if they tried to get you, they're real creepy. If they tried to get you and they went into the water, they would just forget about you, but now they will follow you and try to get you even in the water, which kind of makes them a little easier because they'll keep trying to get you over and over. That was Bones shooting at me there. But yeah, they'll keep trying to get into the water to get you. You have to really time it. There we go. We got him with the Spectral Arrow, and he'll come after me in the water, and he's not that smart, but it might be a bug. I think they probably need to fix that because Endermen just, you know, blindly going into the water are going to be pretty easy to defeat. But that's cool. And also, you saw the one had a block. If you kill them when they're holding a block, they will drop the block now, so you can finally get your blocks back that they stole. Let's get killed by Bones over here because I want to show you guys death messages. When you do die in the game, you will see the death message on your screen to respawn, so you know how you died. So no more mysteries of what killed you. Here we go, and then you see Swimmy Bird was shot by Bones Malone. Sounds like an obituary there. But yeah, we can learn that now, which is a nice little feature. So if a player destroys you, you know who got you. You don't have to look in the text or anything of the chat. Now, one last thing. We're going to go fight the real dragon in just a second, but this is the Ender Dagon. This is my my dragon that I built using a new block here that we'll get, or a new item from the end when we go over there. But this uses the dragon head. So you guys saw the dragon head. You can put it on when you move around, like walking or flying with it. The mouth will go up and down, but also when you power it with redstone, you'll see the mouth will flap. When you turn it off, it freezes whatever position it's in when it's not powered anymore. But this is really bizarre. It's like you're giving life to this dead Ender Dragon's head. So right now there's no way to get the head, it doesn't seem, but I'm guessing the dragon is going to drop it as one of its new rewards along with its breath for the potions and stuff. So yeah, I just built this little fake dragon out of coal and skeleton heads and stuff just because I thought it would be fun to put this head on there. So hopefully you guys liked that. All right, let's go into the end. We're We're going to take on the dragon and check out those new dungeons. All right, we are all geared up and ready to go. These guys are rooting for me. Let's take down the revamped Ender Dragon. This is the new boss arena. It's a little bit different from the End as we know it, but this is still nothing compared to the Frontier and those new End City dungeons. We'll get to those in a few moments. We just have to take down the dragon, but she is nowhere to be found. Luckily, we can bring her back multiple times. No longer are we limited to one dragon per world or per server. She can be brought back in survival. Now, after the first fight, you're going to get less experience, and you only get one dragon egg, but we're supposed to be getting a new dragon breath ingredient that's probably going to be used for something very powerful, maybe a strong potion. We don't know yet, so that's going to be in a future snapshot. To bring back the dragon, we have to craft these ender crystals, but we can't do that yet in this first snapshot either. There is a temporary way that I didn't believe at first. It's very strange. We're going to be crafting a creeper face out of clay blocks in the world, like a golem or a wither. We're going to have to make this, and it's 3 blocks up, 6 in the center, and 4 for the eyes. There we go. Believe it or not, the dragon is back, and this is a revamped fight. She's a lot more aggressive. She's got better AI, and most of the mechanics are pulled from the console edition of Minecraft. This portal here, where the egg will land on, usually is not around until the dragon is dead, but it starts out here because she has a new attack phase that uses the portal. You'll notice that the pillars are all arranged in a circle here. They're always going to be like this. No longer are you going to have to run around and try to find where all the crystals are in the end. Now, the taller ones are a bit tougher though. As you can see, there's iron bars around the crystal. You can't just sit at the bottom and snipe up here. You have to actually climb or stack your way up, break through the bars, and blow up the crystal yourself. Just be careful because the explosion can knock you off, and of course the dragon can also just launch you into the abyss. We're going to go into survival mode and see how we fare against the dragon. She's got a lot of new attacks. So like I mentioned, she's very aggressive. The more crystals you destroy, the more she is going to fly around these towers and try to defend them and knock you off. So you're going to have to do a quick job of defeating her, or you'll just get launched away. And also look out for those Endermen. I do not have a pumpkin on, so I'm going to have a tough time. Oh, we already got that one. So she's going to swoop down and go into another phase. This is where she shoots off her new Ender Acid Breath attack. And you can see it does quite a bit of damage. It has a good range. You got to be extra careful if you're going to run in and try to hit her with a sword, because she can hit you with that acid and knock you as well. She's got a pretty good hitbox. She definitely makes the Endermen pretty mad when she hits them with that breath, and she'll knock them around as well. They don't seem to like their dragon overlord. So there she goes. She's run away. I think an Enderman is hitting me as well. Got to be careful here. But yeah, she'll swoop down, and that's the only time when you can take her out is when she's on this pedestal. So you got to be extra careful there, and that is the only time you can do the finishing blow. You can do as much damage as you want to her when she's in the air, but the last blow has to be when she is landed on the pedestal. So she's got another attack that, if we're lucky, she'll show us here. See, I can't get that crystal because it's in a cage. She will shoot these blast bombs, kind of like a ghast, and they'll fly down. There we go. I just heard one. I don't know if we can find it, though. Where is it coming from? There it is. And it will land and shoot off some beautiful particles. They do a little bit of damage, but now she's not going to swoop in to attack, so she is a little bit tougher to do damage on. I hit an Enderman with a glowing Spectral Arrow, so he's coming after me. We're going to go into creative anyways, because I wanted to show you guys something cool, but I can't survive this unless I've got a little immunity. So I'm going to craft a Wither. This is a new ability in the new snapshot here, to be able to see 2 boss bars at the same time. And you can tell, see, they have separate bars. We have one for the Wither and one for the dragon. And even if the boss is out of range, you'll be able to see what their health is like. I've made this very legit Power 1000 enchantment bow. This should take out the Wither in one hit, so you guys can see. He just loses his health bar here. There we go. And the dragon is all that's left. I wanted to show you guys that no matter how much damage you do to the dragon when she is in the air, if you happen to take her out when she's not over her pedestal, she won't die. You have to get her. See, it went all the way down to nothing, but she is still alive. So one hit normally would kill her. We have to wait till she lands on the pedestal, and here we go. Dead. I know I didn't do that in survival, but I wanted to show you guys the multiple health bars, and I figured the Wither was going to take me out if I didn't do that in creative. There we go. So she has died. The egg is not spawning because this is still a little weird. They're working on the AI and everything. She's still not 100% ready, but there is something new over yonder that you guys just saw from that beacon. It is the end gateway portal, and this is the way to get to those new islands. The end is now built with this island in the center, and then way off, it's a donut of all these different landscapes. We can't see them. They're so far away, and those are going to be where we find those new dungeons. I need to grab an ender pearl here, though, because that's the way into this gateway. You have to throw a pearl and hit it into this mesmerizing block. Look at that. It really messes with my mind, but it's super cool looking. It's like a crystal ball or something, or like a lava lamp. But yeah, you need to aim a crystal and be careful because otherwise you're just going to fly off. You might want to put your gear somewhere before you do this. There's a few other ways to do this, though. You can ride a pig, a boat, or a minecart into it if you build something up there. So you can do this without a crystal, but right now it's meant to be using a crystal to do it. And there we go. You can also throw ender crystals in, ender pearls, sorry, in creative mode, which is nice. And when you go through there, you see that cool little beacon shows up. This is the new end landscape, and we're gonna jump to an end city, and I'll show you guys everything about this new area. So this is it. We are almost done covering this giant snapshot. We're gonna finish up by exploring the new dungeon, the End City, and taking on the creepy little monsters that protect this place. But first, I wanted to quickly mention some of the other new features of the End Dimension. So as you explore this place, the islands will go on infinitely, but the farther you go, the more they will fuse together into these giant land masses. But this place is just covered with this creepy new vegetation, the chorus plant. And this stuff, its main use, other than looking awesome and weird, is to get chorus fruit. So to harvest this stuff, you just go up and smack it, and it will break into a million pieces. It's very satisfying, and you get a ton of this new chorus fruit. If you want to grow some yourself, though, you have to stack up. You can't break them from the bottom or else this whole thing will crumble, but you can stack up and break off a chorus flower, and you can grow this in any dimension. It has to be planted on end stone, just kind of like the nether wart has to be planted on soul sand, and they'll take a little bit to grow. Here's a time lapse that took me about 20 minutes, but this will vary depending on how big your chorus plant is going to get. So these are really cool, and they're used mainly to get that fruit to craft the new blocks found in the End City. But the chorus fruit has a secret feature. You can eat it, and even if you have full hunger, kind of like a golden apple, you can eat some of this stuff, but be very careful because when you eat it, you'll be teleported in a 32 by 32 block radius here, kind of like an Enderman. They must be chewing on the stuff because they teleport constantly as well. And whoa, you might find yourself in some very dangerous situations, so be careful. It should always teleport you onto a solid block, but you never know. Be cautious. People have been using this stuff to teleport on top of the nether, though, but the developers have said it's not fully finished yet. The main use, though, of the chorus fruit is to make these blocks. So the process is grab a chorus flower, plant a chorus plant, harvest chorus fruit, cook them in a furnace, and then you will get popped chorus fruit. And that's what is used to make these new blocks here. So 4 popped chorus fruit will net you 4 of the new Purpur blocks. I love these. They're purple, so let's call them Purpur blocks. And these have kind of a nice little grid pattern. You might recognize them from that screenshot that Jeb posted, and I mentioned in a news video a while back. This is the hidden new block that took us a while to see. So you can get Purpur blocks, and then you take those, and as usual, kind of like quartz, you can make different variations. You can make stairs by putting them in a little wedge pattern there. You get 4 Purpur Stairs. You can also make Purpur slabs. You'll get 6 of them if you just do a row of Purpur blocks. And then last, 2 slabs stacked will make a Purpur pillar. And like quartz, yeah, they've got nice little patterns on the side. They're cool looking. I like this variation here. You can also craft endstone together to make endstone bricks, and you get 4 of those. These are nice looking as well, and of course there's endstone everywhere here, so very easy to obtain this stuff. So over here we've got one last little thing. These are all found naturally in the End City, and this little guy is also found there as well. It's the Ender version of a torch. This is called an end rod, and it makes little particles pop out. It has the light source level of a glowstone block, so it's very, very bright. You can use them instead of torches, and they're mostly just for lighting up the End City, but they can be placed vertically, horizontally, upside down. They're just, you know, put them wherever you want. They'll light up an area. You can use them to block mobs from getting through. You can also jump on them They're very thin, but you can use them as kind of like a stairway to get up, and we'll do that in a second here. I made some weird little mines with them, and I also crafted myself a sun. This is Pinocchio's, and he's got a cold, because you can see those little particles coming off of there. It was very hastily made, and he lied about something because his nose is very long there. So yeah, those are all the new blocks that you can get. All right, I'm ready to go into survival mode. Let me grab my sword and put on my armor. I've got a little bit of feather falling because we're gonna need it in this new place. Here we go, guys. Time to conquer the End City. So this place is a very vertical dungeon. It's gonna be a little hard to navigate, but luckily we're gonna get a little help from our new friends, always peeking out to say hi. This is the Shulker, or Shell Lurker. So you gotta be careful around these guys because they will shoot these little projectiles that travel in a very boxy, awesome little pattern. And if these happen to hit you, you're gonna be taking the new status effect. That one's just going off to see my crafting recipes. There we go. So now we have this new status effect, levitation. Be very careful with this because it will levitate you for a few seconds into the air and then drop you. So that's why I have those feather falling boots on, because it's a little dangerous. This is the main way the Shulkers are gonna kill you because they can't really damage you. Otherwise, the projectiles don't do that much damage. It's mainly the fall damage that'll get you. So this is how we use levitation here. He shot his buddy there. The Shulkers can be found on the ground or on walls, and they disguise themselves kind of like Purpur Blocks. We got a Shulker fight on. Monster infighting. So yeah, they can disguise themselves as little blocks here, so sometimes you might not notice them amongst all the Purpur, and they'll hang out on walls. You can hit them and kill them normally. They've got a cool little swirl pattern on the bottom as well. But when they have closed their shell, they are immune to arrows. They also take a lot less damage. They take about 80% damage when their shell is closed. So even if you hit them with a sword, we were just floating away. We stole fizzy lifting drink. We get nothing. So yeah, we're floating over here. I need to try to land on a good spot. Oh, we're okay because of my feather falling. So yeah, they're not too tough if you get close enough to hit them with a sword, because you can just get them. Now, if they get below half health, they have a 25% chance of teleporting when you hit them, just like an Enderman. I think they might be linked somehow. Either they're also eating chorus fruit, or they maybe are like baby stages of Enderman. So there we go. I can give you guys a little bit better look here with one more little Shulker egg. So yeah, they pop out to say hello. That's when you want to hit them with an arrow. And be careful, because yeah, the arrows are also good for cutting off these little projectiles. You can kind of hit them quick enough to get rid of them. I think the arrow's probably the best way to get them, because then you're not close enough to get hit by the projectiles, but still, be very careful there. We're gonna go into the End City as well, and you're gonna see plenty of these guys, because this is where they spawn. I think the Shulkers are kind of like the Blazes of the End City. They're very tough and annoying, and they can gang up on you if you're not careful. They're not quite as damaging, though, because of the fact that their little projectiles don't do that much damage. There we go. We're gonna jump our way up. Flying around in creative so much, we gotta get used to playing in survival again. And be careful, because these little hallways here, as we get up, we're gonna find a ton of Shulkers. So this branches off. You saw there was a ship up there. We'll get to that eventually. Ooh, these guys are hiding here. Let's be careful and not get hit. It's so intense, because if you get hit, you're just gonna be floating away, and you gotta be quick about it. No loot in this one. There's some really good loot in this dungeon, though. You can find a lot of good stuff. You can get Beetroot Seeds, which are that new crop that we mentioned earlier. There's also diamond and gold. There's iron and diamond gear, heavily enchanted usually. Oh no, here we go. I'm gonna fly up a bit, and then we'll just maybe break through these. Oh jeez, we'll just break through some of this stuff. I'll just chill here. Oh, we're gonna have to keep floating, otherwise I'm just gonna fall. Yeah, you can see how it's very easy to get chain hit by these projectiles, and then you'll be in trouble when you're taking so much, damage from a huge fall. There we go. Got rid of that one. We'll climb up this tower here and look out. But the cool thing is that even though levitation's a negative status effect, it has some positive effects, because if you let it float you up, it's a lot easier to navigate these end cities than you would normally see when you're climbing normally. It can be kind of tough to get through here. But yeah, really good loot in this dungeon, so it's definitely worth the risk. And you probably noticed that end ship has a beacon. We'll get to that in a second here. We just got to get our way over to where we can jump to it. And I think we're getting pretty close. There we go. There it is. And if we go up, you'll see there's a little ramp. We just got to get past these Shulkers and follow through. We haven't found any chests yet, which is kind of rare because this place usually has a ton of loot. There we go. A nice ender chest, which is a good piece of loot, and another chest that I'm just going by. we'll have to stop here in a second. I do have milk though. I forgot. I've got this milk that I can grab, which will help me get rid of that levitation effect if we're ever in a situation where we don't want to have that. I'm gonna throw my arrows in my offhand and start poisoning these guys to make it a little easier. Let me see if I can jump down and, oh, jeez. I wanted to get to that chest there. We're gonna try to jump and see what loot we got because, yeah, the loot in this dungeon is very good. I just have to get close enough to be able to grab it. I'll let that hit me. Oh, I'll let it hit me sometime. There we go. And I'll eat a golden apple. And let's see, what do we got in this chest? A nice iron chest plate piece there and protection 4, diamond helmet. See, really good stuff in these. And, jeez, keep getting knocked around. We're gonna try to just go up here. I'll let them keep smacking me because I got the armor to take these shots and float our way through. Just stay in the center. It's almost kind of hypnotic here going up through the center. It does definitely remind me of Willy Wonka. No way to get the levitation effect without getting hit by a shulker at this point, but they might add a potion in later. So here we are. There's an Enderman up there. This is the end ship. These are kind of rare to see. They're not going to be in every one of these end city dungeons. So to get over, you have to stand at this little ledge here, and hopefully if I throw this right, my pearl will hit, and there we go. We are on the ship, and we got to look out. There's shulkers here. Okay, whoa, jeez. We're doing okay. Let's run down. We can find potions here, so there's healing health potions that we'll find in the brewing stands. Now, another thing I wanted to mention about the potions, they're rebalancing them, but they took out the ability to extend them with redstone and glowstone dust. So we're gonna have to maybe see if they add a different way to do that, or maybe they're just doing something weird where they had to take it out temporarily. We'll have to see. Now, this beacon here is showing us where the ship is, but they've already mentioned they're gonna get rid of this. This is way too easy to get a beacon this way. Normally you have to, battle the wither and get all the ingredients to make the beacon, so just getting one here is way too overpowered, but they already mentioned they're gonna get rid of that. It was just kind of a nice, cool thing to show where the ship is. That guy's shooting stuff at hitting himself with the window. We're gonna climb up to the crow's nest and finish up here. Thank you guys for watching so much. A ton of new features and a ton more on the way. I wanted to finish, though, by, hey, buddy. I wanted to finish by thanking you guys. You probably noticed this snapshot took me a while to get done. I had some big issues. I made a whole world, got everything ready, and then my world corrupted because the early versions had a big bug. If you made any signs or books or even just played them normally, eventually they would corrupt. That was a huge heartbreaker for me because I worked a long time on that. So that's why it's been taking so long, and I've been kind of sick recently, but I persevered. I know it took me a little while, and I want to thank everyone. I was very encouraged by everyone who said, hey, I haven't watched any other Snapshot videos because I've been waiting for yours, and I want to see it. So please get it done. I definitely wanted to keep going and get this done for you guys. Thanks again for watching, and please leave a like if you enjoyed this. So many new features and so much more on the way. I'm very excited for the combat update. We're going to see more very soon, and I'll see you guys next time for more Minecraft. Goodbye.